You know, when you drive across Labrador, you really get a sense of how enormous this land is, how vast, how rich, how diverse and beautiful. The coastline of Labrador is so rugged, and as you're driving through all the different areas and you see the small fishing communities, you're really struck by the strength of the people and this land. We pick an absolute home run of a location.
I know, you've got the Pinware River, you've got access to everything that the Pinware offers, and it's a drive to. You couldn't ask for a better scenario.
I've had the pleasure of fly fishing for Atlantic salmon throughout Labrador, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. I've never seen so many jumping salmon as I saw this day on the Pinware. Everywhere I looked, there'd be a salmon jumping. 5 pounds, 10 pounds, sometimes over 20. Bright chrome. I mean bright chrome. These silver leapers were just everywhere.
They are just loaded in here. Stacked. Woo! But anytime you can catch them on a bomber, it's just wonderful. You ready to see what fishing can be like at Big Land Lodge? How do you like that?
I've been fly fishing for Atlantic salmon for over 30 years, and I gotta say, this is truly one of the best experiences I've ever enjoyed anywhere.
That's a nice sized fish. What?
Absolutely fantastic.
The new Fly Fisher is supported by Newfoundland and Labrador Outfitters Association, Orvis Fly Fishing, Scientific Anglers, Trout Unlimited, WeatherTech Canada,
For 20 years, Mark and I have known each other through the broadcasting business. For the past 5 years, we've been partners in producing the new Fly Fisher. Fishing was fantastic. Let's go.
Tomorrow's another day.
In all that time, unbelievably, we've never had a chance to go fishing together. Until now. What better destination to go fishing than one of our shared favorites, Labrador. This part of Canada is over 114,000 square miles of raw wilderness. filled with thousands of rivers and lakes. Yet, this massive land only has a population of less than 30,000. Both Mark and I have never fished southern Labrador. Now, thanks to a brand new highway, we're driving to a region that is famed for excellent Atlantic salmon fishing and even big sea-run brook trout. Equally exciting is that we're staying at a new fishing lodge that has recently opened up beside the famed Pinware River. Aptly called Big Land Lodge. Owners Rob French and Matt Rogers reopened this formerly closed facility and gave it a complete makeover during the years of the pandemic when the province was closed to visitors. Now reopened, it's a world-class fishing lodge for anglers. Nestled beside the Pinware River, surrounded by outstanding fishing. To say Mark and I were more than excited would be a vast understatement. After unpacking and grabbing something to eat, we learned that we needed to get to bed right away as we had an early start the next day. After a quick breakfast and fueling up on some much-needed coffee, we put on our waders, tied up our boots,
I didn't hear the word coffee in there.
We got coffee up across the river.
and strung up our rods. Though we were a little groggy and our muscles were still stiff from yesterday's long drive, both Mark and I were very pumped to get going. After a quick 5-minute drive,
How long is the drive?
5 or 6 minutes.
Flies already.
we made our way through the forest, led by head guide Walter Bolger.
Wow, steps. Luxury.
Yeah, but if we can keep this all day now, we would have a perfect time fishing that.
Once at the river, then we loaded into a small punt and were rowed across by Walter. Then it was a short walk upriver to take us to our first fishing location, just a short distance downriver of the falls. It was overcast and cool as we got into position to start fishing. The Pinware River rises about 50 miles inland from the south coast of Labrador. Tributaries, snowmelt, and summer rains add to a tremendous volume of water that descends into a rush down this powerful river. We're approximately 8 miles upriver from the ocean. here at the falls, and there are literally dozens of runs, pools, and holding water for anglers to cast for salmon. While I was busy tying on a bomber as instructed by Walter,
That's what they call the dirty bomber. Boy, he works.
I'll tell you, it's one ugly bomber, just so you know.
A dirty bomber. That's what he's called. All white guys, eh?
Mark casually cast out his fly and immediately hooked into a salmon.
Well, Walter put us in this first spot here on the Pinware, and we literally third cast in, and we got a nice little grouse on. This river is known for big fish, like big fish in the 20s. So we're gonna see what we can do here, and it's a great start. Cannot complain about this at all. Now, Walter, you want me to move him down here a bit? Okay. And flies out. Nice grouse. He didn't want to have anything to do with me. Thanks, sir.
After Mark released his fish, I got into position and began casting a bomber as per Walter's expert advice.
Carolyn.
Oh, you see him?
Yeah.
You came to it.
Yeah.
After several drifts, a salmon jumped near my surface fly,
Jumped over the line.
but still no eat. Walter recommended a change, something a little lighter in color.
Should I try another bomber?
Yes, please.
This time, the salmon came up, but only gently mouthed the fly, then whacked it with his tail. This is so frustrating at times.
Oh, you see him. Wasn't a big fish, a little guy.
The salmon eats it, but I missed the hookup. Walter tells me to rest that fish and has me cast to another piece of good-looking water, but again, total exasperation.
Got him.
I'm not always real for a salmon.
Well, I think it's girls. It's into the back now already. Might be a bigger fish. It's a big fish. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move. Oh, he's off. I hope I got a fly line still. Well, that was quite an adventure, and I gotta tell you, I didn't think I was gonna land that fish. Fish is on. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That's what my dad used to tell me. That's just the little girls.
I've never seen a girl like that go before.
No, I haven't either. You know what it is? He got in that current and I lost him.
Yeah.
That little fish kicked my butt. I can hardly wait to get a big one. I'll be down the ocean.
You'll be on your own, pal.
Thank you, sir. That was crazy. And it turned out to be a grill. It's not even a big fish. It's got out in that current. But you don't know. It could be a little grill or it could be 15 to 20 pounds. You don't know once they get in that fast water. But that was a good run. And I think I've earned a good lunch and some calories.
If you can believe it, Colin Mckeown and I met 22 years ago when I was working for Outdoor Life Network, and he brought the new fly fisher to the network to be on TV. Well, I never thought then that today we would be business partners and we would, have 22 years of television making together through the new fly fisher and others. And if you can believe it, this is the first time in 22 years that we've actually had the opportunity to shoot a show together. We've been looking forward to this forever, and the stars just haven't aligned. But now we're on the Pinware, fishing Atlantic salmon, our favorite species, and it's for me, for my career, and having a mentor like Colin, it's a dream come true.
Good job, Mark.
I moved this fish twice with a white wing blue charm, and shortened up my line a bit and went back through, and I didn't actually see the eat. The fish ate the fly's subsurface. It hadn't started hitching it, and all I felt was a little thump. Yeah, lift, set the hook, and it's game on. Another nice grilse. Keep them up here in the pool. Maybe this will stir things up a bit and get these fish a little more active. He's not quite done yet, though.
Where are those big fish? They're hiding.
Yeah, there are big fish here, but it's nice to see the smaller ones too at the same time. We've seen some monster surface. All right, I'll walk him over to Walter. He's not quite ready yet, Walter. Oh, you got him. Nice. Nice having a big net, huh?
Big handle on there.
Look, flies out already? Yeah, they are. Look at that fresh fish. Gone. Didn't even get to show him to you. Let's go after his grandma.
Some anglers had been fishing in the pool below the falls and kindly let us take their spot, so we moved upriver. After a while, the sun burned through the clouds and fishing conditions changed. Despite seeing salmon continuously going by or jumping, we could not trigger a bite with either surface flies or wet flies. That is often the challenge and allure of salmon fishing. 1 minute you're a rock star, the next you're not even a roadie. After our early morning, we decided to head back to the lodge for a little afternoon nap. Later that afternoon, we awoke refreshed and very hungry. Thankfully, the great cooks at Big Land Lodge had been busy, and we were treated to a wonderful home-cooked dinner. Rob French recommended we go out for a few hours of walk and wade fishing in the lower part of the Pinware River. Known as tidal waters, this part of the river is shallow, with lots of structure for salmon to pause as they journey upriver. I love this type of easy wading, where the water only goes up to your knees. Usually in shallow water like this, it's best to cast wet flies with the riffling hitch. The skating wet fly on the surface usually triggers a response from fresh run fish.
So this riffle here,
Yeah,
that riffle there,
Yeah.
and then that rock.
right on. Yeah,
And everything is smooth over there.
yeah. So you cast right across from that pool, you make your way, and really just kind of walk down along the side here. I'm
Okay.
gonna put Colin on the other side.
Okay.
So I really enjoy this walk and wade type of fishing, and I think most people do. We're swinging flies, these wet flies, with a riffling hitch, and it's working really well. One of the things you have to do, as I've been taught by the guides over the years, is it's just not a matter of swinging a fly. Sometimes you got to mend down, mend up, or maybe sometimes even both to get the fly to kick into gear to get on the top, to go across, but also to get the right speed, because you don't want it ripping across. I'm generally casting 45 degrees downstream and then doing this, swinging it, but I've got a whole bunch of rocks here that are causing some disturbance in the way my fly is going to flow across the current. So it requires that I have to, in this case, do a little mend downstream, kick the fly into gear again, pull it up in the water column, and go back in the surface. And that way, I get a really good presentation to any salmon as I work my way through here. Well, that was an incredible hit.
You see him come?
Nope, I didn't see the fish come to it. I just felt the whack. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, it's coming at me. And this is why you want to bring large arbor reel, decent drag. That's fresh fish, just moving up. Oh, look at that. And this is why you want to come here to the Pinware and this easy walk and wade fishing, because it's so much fun. Here we are at the end of the night, eh, Rob? Using a little size 10. Okay, I know. Okay, got him up. Can we get him up again? What a great way to end the evening. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful fish. What a fight. Look at this, we're up to our knees. There's salmon, and you don't know, it could be a fish like that or it could be 15 pounds. They're all coming through here, right?
And we haven't even fished the main part yet down here. We're working our way down.
You spend a whole day and work your way from up there all the way down, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could. Yeah, oh yeah, there's lots of this river's not even fished. Yeah. It's a discovery when you go for the water.
We're out here, Mark and I and you, all by ourselves. I mean, this is so much. Anyways, I go on, but we're having a great time. Let's see if we can get another one before it gets too dark. Rain's just coming in from behind us. The front we all know is coming.
With the rain and fog coming in from the sea, it was time to call it a night. A good rest was needed to prep us for the next day. The next morning, we woke up to very foggy conditions, with the promise of sun later in the morning. Head guide Walter Bulger recommended we return to the falls for another try. The fog was very thick, and the only sound to be heard was the thunder of the falls in the distance. Conditions seemed perfect for salmon fishing, much like the previous day. But the salmon had another opinion. Both Mark and I cast, changed flies, then cast more, but nothing seemed to be moving the fish to the fly. Absolutely nothing was happening for nearly an hour, but as the fog began to slowly thin, Mark made it happen.
Fish. So, right in the push of this big rock, I raised a fish on a big bomber, and I couldn't get it to come back. So I went down to probably a number 8 or a 10 from a number 6, and first cast through, this fish came up and ate it. Whoa! Oh, don't go down there, buddy. Now I'm kind of lassoed here where I can go, so I've got to play this fish from this rock. Uh-oh. No, I'm going for a run. Now he knows he's hooked. Downriver we go. Maybe he's not as small as I thought. Now when fighting these fish downriver, you've got to keep tight the whole time still, because they're gonna they pause in these weird pockets, like it's rushing rapids and he's still fighting coming back up. It's funny how they want to come up, they want to run upstream still. I might be able to get him up in this pool. Yeah, he's come right up. Oh, cool, this is awesome. Woohoo, what a radio! I'll hook him over there. That's fun. I gotta figure out how to get there. So what's cool about this is This fish was heading downstream in a hurry. But what I did was I didn't put pressure on him. I just kept it tight. And instead of going all the way down these rapids, that fish actually came back to me and I hooked it right here. So it went all the way down and swam right back into this pool. So let's take a look at this little guy. They are fresh, man. Okay, so it flies out. Now let's take a look at this little guy. If he'll let me. Nice little fish. Good salmon. Tons of fun on a bomber. Can't beat it. So that's the fly that took that great little grill. It's probably a size 8. Yeah, so came up right away. Second cast with the new fly. And that's the difference in size between the one that raised that fish and the one that caught that fish. So when you have an opportunity, you raise a fish and you can't get it to come back, either upsize or downsize to see what the fish wants. It was interested in this, but it ate this one.
As the sun came out and it became brighter, the salmon really turned on. Finally, it was my turn to hook into a fish.
Yeah! Nice fish.
He is. He came up for twice.
Unlike Mark, I couldn't hold my salmon above the chute, and I was off for a run down the river.
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm pretty disappointed. Fly line just came back at me like a slinky, and I know what happened. I hooked the fish up above the chute here, and I kept him in the pool for a long time. Broke up here in the top, and I know what happened is that not once but twice he got the line and the leader wrapped around the rocks, and even though it's really good leader material, it can only take so much abrasion and sawing, and that was a big fish, strong fish. We had him, took him all the way through the chute. I was almost at the end here, brought him in here to the side, and Walter was all set to net him, and just wasn't to be. Leader broke, fish won, and I'm exhausted. I don't know what it is. Like, Mark hasn't run down these rocks yet. I've done this twice now. What is going on?
After losing that fish, Walter came to console me, offer some advice, and help me through the pain of loss.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Having a couple runs down the freaking river. Having Walter chew my ass. Just like the black flies. This fish needs a bomber. I do. I believe.
The falls on the Pinware River are truly dramatic and awe-inspiring to watch. With literally tons of water crashing over the edge every second. The Atlantic salmon are driven by a strong urge to return to the place of their birth to spawn once again. The falls are just one impediment to their long journey. Leaping up to 12 feet, it's an impressive show of strength and determination. Certainly, their hydrodynamic design and power helps them shoot through heavy currents. But is it enough to overcome the crashing waters of these falls? As we watched in real time, not every jump makes the target. In fact, from what we could assess, it seemed virtually impossible for the salmon to successfully jump these falls. Our cameraman Ryan spent hours shooting slow motion video of the salmon's attempts at the falls. When we returned from our trip and had time to carefully examine all the slow motion footage, we were shocked to realize that many salmon are actually successful in overcoming this thundering rush of water. A picture of the strategies of how the salmon successfully did it began to emerge as we looked at the footage. We noticed that the salmon seemed to pop up just short of the falls, almost as if they were assessing where and how they should attempt the jump. Then, 10 to 12 seconds later, they would attempt their first leap. Sometimes the salmon would try to drive through these crashing waters, only to be quickly turned away. Others would badly misjudge the power and ferocity of the crashing falls and were quickly tossed to the side. Here, a big salmon looks at the falls, then a short time later tries to jump, but he's short. These two large salmon are seen to be checking out the falls, then 10 seconds later make their attempt, which was perfectly placed into the chute, allowing them to drive through upriver. It seemed every time we saw salmon checking out the falls before an attempt, they were generally successful. Often it was multiple salmon that effectively jumped into the trough, allowing them access upriver. Watching these salmon overcome the falls was in itself a reason to visit this area. But there's also much more to this region.
At least it's not cold.
Yeah, it's not cold. It's just wet.
Well, what a difference a day makes. It's blowing sideways, it's raining. It's about 13 degrees or 66. What's this gonna do to the fish?
I think it's going to be for fresh fish coming up the river, aggressive fish taking on the fly, or I'm completely wrong.
We're just gonna go.
We're going to get really wet because it is blowing vertical and horizontal. It's the full package. So, you know, for those that love to fish, if you're like me, I've gone out weather like this and had some of my best fishing days. So I'm hoping that's what it's going to be, Mark.
Well, that's the impetus of getting out of bed this morning, isn't it? Great fishing.
It was really nice and warm in that bed this morning.
All right, we'll see you in the truck.
Okay.
It didn't take long to arrive, and we packed up our gear and headed down to the river. As predicted, the wind and rain pounded us.
Well, Rob, it was a fun ride in. Where are we? What's the game plan for today?
So we're at Forteau River.
Yep.
And we're actually right where the top part of the river empties out into the pond. So a lot of times the salmon will come in here and rest before they go upriver, but it's also a really good spot for sea trout.
Sea trout.
Yeah, so normally the pool is a lot smoother, but because of the type of day it is, a lot of rough water. So we're going to fish here, try for sea trout anyway to begin, then we'll move upriver a little ways. Salmon, great spot for salmon to rest up here.
Well, I've already seen a salmon jump while we've been waiting.
Yeah.
So best thing to do is soak a fly, right?
Yeah, give her a try.
So how do you want me to fish this?
So this whole pool is a great spot for a bomber, but back here in this rough water and you know, the way it is, we'll do all bomber fishing back here. You can still do some bomber fishing above. As we move up, the river gets more shoal and faster, so we'll do a lot of wet fly fishing up top. But here for now, back here, we'll use the bomber. see if we can see a trout or a salmon, and then we'll move up and change to a wet fly.
So it's a fishery that you can really experiment and try different things, right?
Oh, definitely. There's different species here too. So sometimes you're hearing the salmon are taking a bomber, and if you're looking for the sea trout, you're in closer and you can find a smaller bug or a small wet fly.
Right.
And depending on the conditions of the year here, as the summer moves on here, the water gets lower. There's a lot of small number 12 wet fly.
Okay. How big did the sea trout get?
Sea trout here get up to 6-7 pounds. Yeah. The biggest sea trout that I know is caught around here, but 9.5 pounds.
9.5 pounds.
Yeah, and that's sea run brookies.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Fun. I love brook trout. I love them.
I like fishing a river where you can get both.
Yeah.
You really don't know what's going to come for the fly.
So fish start up and just let it come down, or do you want me to?
Yeah, and not far out too, Mark. Like the start anyway. And in that rough water, your bomber's not going to float right anyway, so it's kind of just along the edge.
Sure, should I be skating it or just let it dead drift?
Probably here you can skate it. Sea trout like to take when it's skating. There's not much of a current. When it gets out there a little bit further, it'll have a little bit of a current.
Came right out of the water for it. That was awesome.
Beauty, that's a nice trout.
On a bomber, you can't beat it. Just nothing but fun. What a way to start the day, huh?
Yeah, it's nice seeing that. And then it also gives you the confidence that there's
fish here.
Yeah, there's fish here. Now that's a native trout.
Okay, this is not a sea run.
No, that's a native, yeah. Nice colors.
I'll give you that.
Beautiful colors, huh?
Oh man. And this is July. Imagine what they're like in September when they're ready to mate. Just gorgeous.
The white on the fin, eh?
Yeah. There we go. First salmon of the day. It looks pretty fresh, eh, Rob?
Oh yeah, doesn't take them long. We're only a couple kilometers from the ocean here, so it doesn't take them long to get up here.
And it rained all night last night.
Especially on the rain, they're just gonna move on in. A lot of fish have been waiting for that, Mark.
I don't know if he's ready yet.
Yeah. You go back to your show 15 years ago, it would be in the exact same place.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
They play possum and then they just explode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now I've got a size 8 dirty bomber on here. It's just got kind of erratic wings. And it's cream color with an orange hackle.
That's the Paul White Dirty Bomber.
Nice grab, sir. See, he's not ready yet.
No, he wasn't actually. Wow.
Let's take a look at this guy. Flies out.
Flies out.
This is thicker than I thought, Rob.
Oh yeah.
Grab
Wow,
him by the wrist.
Beautiful fish.
Nice fresh fish. No sea lice.
No.
Really clean. Really clean.
Mark was having good success using a bomber down below me. I was using a blue charm wet fly for a slow swing across the currents. Casting was difficult for us both, fighting the brutal winds and lashing rain, when suddenly I went tight on a fish. A fish that turned out to be a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, so we were fishing the rock up here for salmon, and we decided to move down and try for a salmon down below, and we thought we had a salmon the whole time. But sea trout, there's large sea trout come in this river, and it's usually around this time to the end of the month. That's a beauty. That's a fresh sea trout. It's probably been in the river. His colors are changing a little bit, so it's probably been in for a few days. What's that, about 4 pounds?
It's a good size.
He's a nice fish, yeah.
We continued to cast in the heavy winds, but it seemed the run was dying down. Mark had one salmon take a swipe at his bomber, which made him smile, before we headed upriver. We finally reached the wide falls that are a dramatic part of the Forteau River, another testimony of the determination and strength of Atlantic salmon.
That is what salmon fishing is all about, the eat and the jumps. Now this is interesting. I went through with this white-winged blue charm with a riffle hitch on the left side of the fly, and I didn't move anything. And it wasn't riding quite right. So I actually retied and put the hitch on the opposite side. That caused the fly to rise up higher in the water column. Two casts through, and the salmon came up and ate it. In a boulder garden, you got to watch high rod tip. You know, there's all kinds of rocks and boulders that they can chafe the leader off.
And I'm in a spot I can hardly go anywhere else.
Yeah, I'll bring them to you. How's that?
Yeah.
If you'll let me.
And you wouldn't want him to go down there, hey?
No. There we go. I think he's about ready. I should say not. I didn't even get out to the good part yet. This is right below me.
I was going to ask you where you hooked him.
Hooked him right there where he is. Not ready yet. Man, they are just so powerful. Nice. Good job, Rob. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, let's take a look and see what this guy brings to the party. Oh, look at that. He's got a mark on the back of his head. Look at that. Look at that mark. Now, do you have sea lamprey here? Do you think that's a leech?
I would say more like a lamprey. That's like it's a chunk, it's a bite, eh?
Yeah. But it's a perfect circle.
Yeah, so yeah, something was on. It was sea lamprey, could have come off in the fresh water.
Right. Very, very interesting. You know, catching an Atlantic salmon with this as your backdrop, it doesn't get much better than that. Where are we?
We're at the upper part of the Forteau River.
Mm-hmm.
So the fish got about 1.5 kilometers of bottom river to go through. Then they got a pond to cross. Yep. And we're about 1 kilometer up from the pond. So,
and can fish actually get up that falls?
Yeah, fish go up that falls, and they go actually a long ways inside. There's places to fish up above the falls. And the trout also go. Sea trout also run in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, let's see if we got another one.
Sure.
After fishing this area for a while longer, we decided to head back downriver to seek some cover from the rain and to take a break. Rob, of course, put together an epic hot lunch. Despite the horrendous weather conditions,
So Rob, I know when we first heard about your lodge, I was pretty excited because this part of Labrador is not that well known. When people think about Atlantic salmon, they're thinking about all the places that are farther up or over in Newfoundland. And yet, you've got some really prolific rivers here. What was the catalyst for buying this older lodge and turning it into what it has become?
I had been fishing the Pinware River for about 25 years with a good friend of mine, coming up for a week every summer, and I knew what the river had to offer in the way of salmon, Atlantic salmon, and I knew what the area had to offer in the way of diversity in other rivers nearby. So when we decided to go into the outfitting business, the place we wanted to be was Labrador, and the place I was familiar with and wanted to be was in this area. So when the lodge came for sale, we kind of jumped at the opportunity. We know what the fishing is like here. We know the rivers that are within an hour of our lodge and what they have to offer in the way of sea trout, brook trout, Atlantic salmon. So we wanted to make the lodge comfortable for our guests, an atmosphere where our guests can come and have a great day on the river and come back to the lodge and enjoy the atmosphere that I think we've built there.
So Rob, I think a lot of people are going to wonder, about your accommodations and what you have available. I mean, they're really beautiful, the rooms that Mark and I are staying in, but you also have a lot of other things. Can you talk about what accommodations you have here and also the guides you have here?
In the lodge itself, our lodge is a 2-story building. We have 8 rooms and can sleep up to 10 guests in the lodge. We also have 2 out cabins where, people want a little bit more privacy. We got the cabins they can avail of all services in the lodge, all the meals and so on, but they have the cabins to go to in the evening time to get a little bit more privacy. We've done a lot of work on making those rooms and cabins very comfortable. Last year we renovated and flipped the house in West St. Modeste, and that's a 3-bedroom, 4-star accommodation right on the ocean. So you can come to the house, you can avail of all the services from the lodge, whether that's meals and our guides, and then you have the privacy of going back to your own house on the ocean. One of the big things that we found really good for us starting off is that we had so much experience from the local guides that we brought on staff. And I mean, these fellows have been fishing the river for 40 years. So, when you go to spots on the rivers, they know where every fish lie, they know every hole, they know what the water temperatures, the water levels like, where it's better to take our guests. So having that experience, along with the wonderful staff that we've locked into for our kitchen, has made it, made us very lucky in the area to have that staff.
So Mark and I really enjoyed the drive here. I know a lot of people think when you come to Labrador, well, you got to fly here, take a float plane into a lodge, but this is an area that tourists come anyways because it's so beautiful, this part of Labrador, southern Labrador. Can you talk about this? Because I know that there's a couple right now at the lodge that are from Maine, and they're there specifically to do a little fishing, but they want to take in all the other stuff that's available, whether it's birding or going to see Red Bay, things like that. Can you talk about that?
Well, I guess we're unique in a sense because you can drive right to our door. And we're also located in such a wonderful area in southern Labrador. The World UNESCO site of Red Bay is 10 minutes away. We have Point of Moore Lighthouse, which is the tallest lighthouse in Atlantic Canada. We have then whale watching. I mean, there's wonderful businesses around in Red Bay and locally where you can go out in the ocean to see whales. You can see them right from our front deck at our Airbnb. But we do have a lot of couples. We have a lot of couples who are interested in not only the fishing, and I'm not going to say the husband because it might be the wife who wants to go in the morning and have a fish, and in the afternoon they decide they want to go to Red Bay to see the whale museum. So it's a unique situation, but that unique situation has gathered a lot of interest from tourists for us.
Well, Rob, I'm glad you mentioned that because I think it is important for people. If they're interested, they should contact you right away. But more importantly right now, I just saw a giant salmon jump down there in the V right below Mark, and he's heading upriver here. So I'd like to get back to fishing and getting out there and swinging this fly because that was a big salmon. That was 15 pounds. That was, by the way, that was a big salmon. That's the biggest salmon I've seen here. It was, Mark just turned his head so he didn't see it, but it's right below where he was. And it came up, big silhouette, like that was not the grill. That was 15 pounds. Easy, that was a big, and when he hit the water, it made a big kapoof. Winds died down, the rain stopped. I came out here and flicked the fly and right in front of the cabin. Here on the shore of the river. This is such a great spot. Easy walking and waiting. This fish has already made 2 or 3 nice jumps since I hooked it. And I got him on a blue charm, the riffling hitch. Nice flat water here, perfect. Working a seam by a rock. Try and bring it over to you, Mark. This fish is ready to come in. There we go. Oi!
I wasn't ready.
No, I think the fly's already popped out. It's a beauty barbless. Oh, beautiful. Just got him in the corner of the mouth, I think. Nice fresh fish. And the whole time I was out here, I'm seeing salmon jumping, coming up the river. I love these dirty, yucky, cold, gross days. They're outstanding fishing. Let me just quickly show it to the camera here. Oop. Wait, trying to minimize my touching of the fish. But you get a fresh fish like this. I'm just gonna quickly show it to you. I love the colors. Let's put them up. Current here. Goes. Lots of jumps, lots of fun on an 8-weight rod. Thanks. So much fun.
The fishing on the Forteau River was exceptional. Rob was able to put us onto both salmon and sea run trout. What a perfect day. At dinner that night, we were both hungry and tired. It was not long afterwards that we headed for bed and a good night's sleep.
The next morning, we awoke to a beautiful day. We hoped that yesterday's rain would bring in fresh runs of Atlantic salmon. So after breakfast, we walked down the road and went into a part of the Pinware River known as the Forks. After a short walk through the woods, we arrived. This morning, Glenn Hobbs offered to guide Colin. Glenn has been fishing this river and region for 3 decades and has a wealth of knowledge.
You've been fishing this river for 30 years or more?
Yeah, about 30 years.
So could you tell me, like, what's your honest perspective on the river and the region? What is the big draw here?
First of all, it's my favorite place in the world, this river. You know, there's not a lot of pressure on it, really. The fish in this river are just phenomenal fighters. I haven't been anywhere else where fish fight as hard, I don't think, and possibly it's because of how rough the river is.
Yeah.
And it's just one of my favorite places to be. It's relaxing. That's what fly fishing is all about, right?
Very relaxing. I like the beauty of the area. You know, this is my first time here, but I think one of the other things I really like is the diversity. I mean, brook trout places, there's ponds with brook trout, the whale watching. I mean, you've got a place up over in Red Bay. I mean, there's a lot to do around here.
Yeah, there is, yeah. There's the sea run brookies and char fishing a little further north.
But you've got a lot of great fishing,
yeah,
and not a lot of pressure. So I know a lot of people, when they think of going to a fishing lodge, they're always thinking it's a fly-in, get that exclusive, nobody's going to bother me. And here we are, we've got 2 other anglers fishing the run, but there's lots of room.
Yeah.
Everyone's really polite, and you don't have all the problems you do with other places. And you got a guide, and they're going to get you to the fish, right?
Yeah. I've never had any problem up here ever with that kind of stuff. People are super friendly, and yeah, it's great stuff. And there's, like you say, there's always something different to do if you want. Like, you can do the salmon fishing, you can go after trout, you can go after char in salt water. You can actually, even now, like on the weekends, you can even go out and boat and catch codfish. Right? So, I mean,
that'd be cool, catch some codfish and have them for dinner.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing I noticed, I mean, it's a really nice lodge, Big Land, but I think it coupled with the area, I feel like my wife's not a big outdoors person, but she likes sightseeing and, you know, doing other things. So I could see myself going fishing in the morning, come back to the lodge, have lunch with her, and then we go out for the afternoon and do stuff. And then I might go out for the evening, you know, cast, right? Go down the flats or something like that.
Yeah, there's lots to do. There's, you know, the hiking trails out Red Bay, and you got the historic UNESCO World Heritage Site, actually, Red Bay.
Oh, really? That's for the whaling center there?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, the region really strikes us when we were driving here, just how gigantic this region is in the land, and there's nobody here.
No, that's why it's called the Big Land, right?
Yeah.
It is the Big Land.
So we were sitting here, and some other anglers that were just below us both hooked into fish, and then Glenn goes, there's one, there's one, there's one. And they started coming through right around us. They're shooting through, which is really exciting. But first thing he said to me, shorten up, shorten up. So I had me drawing a whole bunch of line. I've probably got a rod's length of fly line out, and then the leader. And he's like, said to me, 45 degrees, swing it through, and just a couple inches at a time, bring it out, and we'll find the fish, right?
Yeah.
Because some are going to be blowing past us, but some are going to hang up here, right? To have a little rest from fighting through the fast water.
And we kept the line it's like this, not on the reel, because we want to get back to the original spot where we rose that fish before. So we won't lose track of where that one was, right?
Yep. I sure hope I didn't do that. Don't make your guide mad. There's a tip for you. You have a long day. You'll be one of those clients. Mending up or down, and I'm following the line across with my rod tip like this.
Yeah.
Making sure I'm getting a good swing.
That's right.
And do 2 casts and then another few inches.
Yeah.
And then
Sweep
go like
pool.
this. Man, where's that fish we saw by the rock there? You should want this.
A lot of times too with the fish when they're moving like that, they don't stop for very long sometimes. They're just there and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Yeah. So everybody can light up with a fish and then all of a sudden, boom, it goes quiet again, right?
Yeah.
It's very common. When it comes to wet fly swinging, I really like to do it. I find it and throwing bombers are just so relaxing and enjoyable. But for technique, do you like to do like a downstream mend to give it a little more speed here? Because we've got rocks and some other
sometimes
current
what
legs.
I'll do is if the fish won't take, oftentimes a good idea is just put it on more of an angle.
Just like instead of here, 45 degrees?
Yeah, to get a little more swing on your fly, a little faster.
Like
sometimes
this?
that'll work. Yeah, sometimes that'll work. That'll speed up the fly as it swings across.
Right.
And maybe it gives a little bit different angle for the fish. You know, it's hard to really know, but trying different stuff like that is sometimes nice to have a slower presentation. Other times, it seems like that faster swing will trigger the strike.
Well, you bring up a very good point because one of the things I've noticed, everyone's, they move a fish and the first thing they're doing when they couldn't get it come again is they're thinking, what's the next fly you can change it to? But the reality is sometimes it's doing an upstream mend or changing the angle to speed it up or slow it, do something like that, and all of a sudden, boom, the fish will come up and take it.
Trying different things, for sure, it doesn't hurt.
It's so different than trout fishing because there's no science to this. Really, is there?
No.
It's just a lot of experience, and that's the one thing I know about Atlantic salmon fishing. Every time I have a rule or I think I know something, I go to a new river, like here on the Pinware, and it's completely different rules.
Yeah.
Wonderful morning with Glenn here. We saw so many salmon. We tried every fly you could think of. He was trying flies. We tried bombers, we tried bugs, we tried wet flies, riffling hitches, black, yellow, green. I think I moved 2 fish and they were coming through. They weren't pausing. Conditions looked perfect, but we didn't get anything. And guess what? That's fishing. That's the way it can be. It's now noon. We're gonna pack our stuff up, go back to the lodge, grab some lunch, maybe have a little siesta, and we're gonna come out here tonight. It could be a totally different ball game, and we could rock it. Let's see what happens.
We walked back to the lodge, and after lunch, Colin decided to stay back and have a little nap. I and some other guests decided to go for a boat ride and do some sightseeing. Boy, did that work out. I love the ocean. I've always had a healthy respect for its presence, power, and history. Coastal Labrador is steeped in maritime tradition from days gone by right to present time. Red Bay, a UNESCO World Heritage Site a short drive from the lodge, reeks of the ghosts of French and Basque whalers from literally centuries ago, and is a must-see on any vacation to Labrador. It's absolutely stunning. Taking a break from fishing salmon offered me the opportunity as a mid-countryman to experience a once-in-a-lifetime event. After Red Bay, we traveled to the maritime village of Pinware, where we heard there were whales in the vicinity and wanted to see if we could get close. So, Walter suggested we jump in his boat and see if we could locate them. Well, he didn't have to burn much fuel as the group of humpbacks were literally meters offshore, gorging on the vast schools of capelin. We were so close we could smell their spout with each massive exhale. We watched the show for a good hour before Walter suggested we pull the plug and head back for dinner. But the whales weren't done with us. Upon returning to the wharf, they came by for an even closer encounter. Absolutely soul-stirring. Well, true to Big Land Lodge form of going above and beyond, we returned to the lodge and were treated to a traditional maritime feast. Fresh lobster, drawn butter, and as much as you could eat at that. The meal was an event, perfect in every way. In all actuality, the day was one of the most memorable days I've had as a fly fisher, catching and releasing salmon on fly, a visit to a village from the 1500s, humpbacks you could almost reach out and touch, and to end the day with a traditional maritime feast, I can't think of any day better than today. After that wonderful lobster dinner, Colin and I were still keen to go back down to the river and try for some salmon. Perhaps our luck would change.
Well, we just had an incredible lobster dinner with all the fixings. Mark and some of the other people went out whale watching this afternoon. It's been a really great day. got the last 2 hours of light. Mark and I decided to come out with Jason, the guide, and swing a fly. And black flies are a little busy tonight, but the good news is there's lots of dragonflies around me, chewing them. So with any luck, I'm seeing a few salmon already jumping. Hopefully we can connect with a nice piece of chrome to end the day. Well, that was awesome. Oh, look at that. Mark's just above me here. I'm fishing this part of the run where Jason told me to go. And Jason told me to put on a small black wet fly with a riffling hitch, and I've only made a dozen casts. Ooh, yeah. And I saw a really big fish. Now this first salmon's not that big, but I don't care. It's a fish. What a great way after dinner and the evening. I hope I get another one. Right into the net.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
It was worth the walk this evening.
It was worth the walk right there. Already kicking off. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
First fish. Hopefully Mark and I will get some more tonight before the sun goes below the trees.
Recently on the Pinware, we've had some significant rain events, and that's caused the water to rise significantly. With the water going up, that means the water's moving faster. Atlantic salmon fishing is all about having your flies in the water. The more time your flies are in the water, the better chance you have of hooking fish. That's obvious. But there's two things that I do to maximize the time that my fly is in the water. The first one is the cast. When my line is done fishing, when my fly is done fishing on the specific cast, I do something called a snap C, and then roll it up to an extended roll cast. That roll cast gets that fly out really far, really quickly. The snap C allows me to eliminate the back cast. The second thing is once my roll cast is out, I do a big upstream mend. That causes the line at the end of my rod to be out on the water and not bellied in a C. And what I can do at that point is guide the speed of the fly across this fast-moving water. If I didn't, it would just whip through, like a fastball in a baseball game. What I'm doing is I'm lobbing that ball into the batter. So, snap C, roll cast out, big mend up, and then you follow your fly line down as it slowly makes its way across the water column, controlling the speed, giving that fly ample time in front of that fish's face so that they can eat it instead of having it just simply whip by.
Ah, missed him. Ah! Come on. Ooh, that's a big fish. Just rolled right out there.
So it's after dinner, and Colin and I came down to the run that we were at this morning, where we saw a ton of fish and didn't move any. And then he's released one and lost one, and I just raised one here, gave it about a 30-second sit, and sure enough, this guy came and ate it. Nice fish. Oh, he came loose. A couple of jumps and a take. That's all it takes. It's amazing. Perfect. The skunk is off the water. Oh, there we go. Caught his youngster. Oh well, that's salmon fishing, right? You lose some, you lose some more. Feels like a good one, man. This feels like a big fish. He was sitting right in front of this boulder. This is a big fish. Oh yeah, it's a giant.
Oh, Mark. That's a big fish.
That is a big one. Might be my big fish of the week. Now I'm swinging a wet fly. I'm going into my back in here, guys. I might have to go down the beach. That's a good one. Fresh fish too, silver, silver. You know, the Pinware is known for some very large fish, and we just might have one. It sounds funny to say, but big fish just feel different. I don't know what it is. They just, their weight, they seem like they're the boss in this relationship, and I'm okay with that. But I'm gonna keep on this fish until it gives up. There we go. He's not done yet, Jason, I don't think. Got 8-pound leader on here, and this is bigger than an 8-pound fish for sure. Plus you're fighting current. With this dark water, Jason has to be really, really sure of his shot. He's a pro at this, and he's not gonna take a risk and take a stab at a fish that he's not for sure gonna net, especially a big one. See, not done yet. Yeah, I'll try to get him in. Oh, he came loose. Are you kidding me? That was an absolute giant. That was a big fish. Whew, that was fun. Let's take a look at the fly, see if he straightened that hook out. It is a barbless hook, so I'm not surprised that happened. And nope. Still good. None of your business. That is a killer fly. Absolutely.
That was a fantastic night, Mark. I mean, what a great day, great morning.
Yeah.
You went out whale watching, I had a little nap and did some other stuff. And then after a great lobster dinner, we come out here and fish, 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 rising. I mean, it was just...
But it's all about the window, right? As soon as that sun kissed the treetops, everything just lit up, right? This morning, there was the same amount of fish here. They were all moving through, but it was too bright and they were not feeding.
You know what else lit up when the sun hit the trees? Black flies.
Yeah, they're epic. They're epic. All right,
you want to wear buffs. You want to wear buffs. Wow, they were epic too. But you know something? I didn't even notice them because the fishing was fantastic. Let's go.
Tomorrow's another day.
Our final full day of fishing. It was overcast and cool, ideal conditions for a fresh run of salmon. After breakfast, we headed back to the Forks to give it a try. There were fish jumping and porpoising everywhere. It turned out to be our best day of fishing yet. Truly epic and memorable for us both.
All right. Welcome to the next morning. Couple of drifts. Oh, they came off. So the thing with fishing barbless flies here in Newfoundland and Labrador is you really need to keep that line tight and angled to the opposite direction of which the fish is traveling. I didn't do that. I fought that fish on a high rod and I didn't angle it. So if the fish is going right, I should have pulled to the left. If the fish is moving left, I should have pulled to the right. I didn't do that, and therefore that barbless hook popped out of that fish's mouth. It's early in the day. That was the third fish I've moved since we've been here, only about a half an hour, so hopefully we'll get another shot. Fish. Well, this morning's turning out to be pretty hot. This is my second fish hooked of the morning. And I didn't switch flies from last night, kept the same fly on. It's a none of your business. That's a black fly with some crystal flash in it. And it's just doing great. It's doing a great job. It really is. I just realized he's hooked. Now I learned from that last fish to angle. You can steer them that way as to where you want and how you want them to go. And it's important in this cold water, you know, let them, oh, it came loose again. Damn, you know what? It's a frustrating game sometimes, but that is salmon fishing. That is. There's more out there. I'm gonna start short again and work my way through the run. I'm gonna check my hook point though. That's it. That's your that's the none of your business. Red butt, a little bit of bear as a wing, and then that silver or that flashaboo. That flash is perfect. Hitched, it's the way to go. Fish. I'm telling you, this fly is unbelievable. That was a long line fish too, you know. Committed to it, came up and ate it, and stuck it to him. Let's see if we can get this one to the net. So 2 days ago, we had a big rain here, and the river came up, and it's now peaked and it's on its way down. Nice. So we've got a fresh run of fish that are in the river, as well as dropping water conditions. So they're holding up. They're not blowing through the way they were yesterday. Nice little grills. Saw the net mat. Salmon in the hole. Sometimes you have to work for them. He's still not done yet. Hey, they're super green, super fresh. Right in lower jaw. Flies out. All right, let's take a look. Colin's on. Okay, let's take a look at this and then we'll show you Colin's fish. There you go. Nice little Pinware grills. See ya.
Oh, oh. Exactly where you said the fish would be, behind these rocks here. Outstanding. So Mark and I have only been here a little bit. I was a little slower in getting set up, and Mark already rose 3 or 4 fish, hooked into 2 or 3. Oh, look at that. This is so much fun. There are so many salmon, even though this isn't a huge fish. These things are so strong. And then amongst these fish, look at this, look at this. Just bending this 9 weight. And what's incredible is that we have the opportunity to possibly get a giant. There's lots of big, big fish. We've seen them come through, jumping 15, 20 pounders. Just trying to get my fly in front of one of those big ones. All these other fish are getting them, so I'm going to start bringing them back here. Okay, get his head up. Well, maybe not. He didn't like the net. Didn't like the net. Bring him up. This is why you want to have a fighting butt, which is perfect. You put it into your chest, fight fish, turn its head a lot, get it confused. Yep, right there in front of you. What a great day! We just got here. And that was that fly you recommended. What's it called?
Purple Nimbus.
purple nimbus with a white wing. Mark's using none of your business with crystal flash in it. Right in the corner of the mouth. So we're using barbless hooks, but sometimes the hook will get, and I've got him right in the corner of the mouth, they'll get into a little bit of the cartilage there. So he's using the forceps to get it out. Let's put it on the hook part. Yeah, that's it. Just get a little pop. There you go. All right. Beautiful, beautiful salmon. So healthy. So, just by chance, our guide, Josh, was going by and he said, Colin, you should try this fly. It's yellow. I got some movement on it upriver. Put it on, 3 casts, boom. So sometimes changing flies really makes a difference. And sometimes it doesn't mean a thing. So I'll see if I can get his head turned. He's got a little bit of juice in him. It's a chubby one. The head up. There he is right there. Turning his head. There we go. Yes! Alrighty. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. Okay, that's a nice fish.
They are just loaded in here, stacked. Now, I generally don't like fishing upstream to fish, especially with a bomber, but that's what this situation allows. There, I got him on the reel. But one of the benefits of fishing upstream is that you can sneak up on fish if you start with a short line and move forward. Now he's gonna get into my feet, watch this. There's gonna be a funky dance going on here right now. I think the reason why there's fish here is because they have to run up this rapid, and this is really the first spot they have that they can rest is up here in this flat water before they hit another set of rapids around the corner. So they should be piled in here. So again, you know, separate the pool. I'm leaving that side for Colin, and I'm gonna fish river right, and I'm gonna present a fly, then I'm gonna work a way across, and then I'm gonna go another foot or two above, work my way across, and hopefully we'll get a big one to eat. But these little grills sure are fun. To see them come up and eat a bomber is just, gives you goosebumps. Makes you feel alive. I don't think he knew he was hooked either. But anytime you can catch him on a bomber, it's just wonderful. Bugs or no bugs. Let me get my footing here. There we go. He did not know he was hooked. I needed a shower anyway. Good fish on a bomber all day long. Fantastic. Wow, what a fishery, man. What an absolutely fantastic fishery.
Our final day before leaving in the afternoon, Rob and I decide to go check out a small local river that is known for sea-run brook trout. Boy, were we in for a surprise.
One of the great things about big land fishing is they don't just have the Pinware for you to fish. There's all kinds of tributaries of the ocean that you can go and target species like brook trout, for example. That's what we're here doing now. Looking for big brookies, sea-run brookies that have come up into the tributaries. Hopefully it's gonna pay off in spades. It's a salmon. That's a salmon. It's a salmon. That's a large salmon. That's the biggest salmon. We thought it was a big brook trout. There was brook trout in there, though. A lot of brook trout, yeah. He doesn't know he's hooked yet. I thought that was a brook trout, man. Nice job. This is insane. Wow. You ready to see what fishing can be like at Big Land Lodge? How do you like that? What a stud salmon on a bomber in a small river. It's perfect. Well, it took us 20 years to finally get together and do a show together. I hope it's not going to be another 20 more.
It's been quite an adventure for the last 5 days, and I've got to say, if we had to pick some place to go, this was a total home run in every capacity. from the fishing, the people, the scenery, the whale watching that you went out and did. I mean, just there's so much to see and do here. I don't think we could have picked somewhere better.
No, I agree. For more on our series, check us out on the web at www.thenewflyfisher.com. For all of us here at the show, thanks for watching. Remember, adventure is out there. Go out and find it. What better way than to do it with a fly rod in your hand? For everybody at the show, I'm Mark Melnyk. He's Colin. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in epic Newfoundland and Labrador.
The New Fly Fisher is supported by Newfoundland and Labrador Outfitters Association, Orvis Fly Fishing, Scientific Anglers, Trout Unlimited, WeatherTech Canada,